Hello and welcome to episode 33 of the Faithbuilding Podcast with your amazing host, Vladi, Kuna.
And Norman Gräter. Hi, guys.
Hello. And we continue with the money we started last episode. It's all about money. I want to kick it off with a story that I heard from one of our mentors, Bob Proctor, and he was talking to a couple many years ago while he was still on this earth. And they said, oh, they want to buy this home, but I have to guess the numbers. It's 1.5 million, but they don't have the money. It was way more expensive than they expected and thought. And he only had one question. He said, so did you decide to buy the house? And they said, no, we don't have the money. And he said, what do you need the money for? You did not decide to buy the house. Yes, we don't have the money, so we cannot decide. And this was going back and forth. And what I learned from my own experience, this is 100% true. If I wait for the money to come first, it rarely happens. The moment I decide to buy something or invest in myself or invest in whatever I like, and I put my mind on it and I say yes to it, then the attraction is there through, it could be a mentorship, it could be a vacation, it could be whatever I aim at. It could be a house, a car. The moment I say, this is it, and I'm gonna have it, and I say, yes, I will have it, I attract the money because then I'm sending out the right frequency. And it always worked, no matter the amount in my case. So I realized the moment I'm just settled and okay with everything that is in my life, there's no need for money to come. And it brings us back what I shared in the other episode about Michael Jordan and Arnold Schwarzenegger. If there's no deep desire within you, either to go against something or for something, there's no drive. It's what it was said in the documentary, we love to win, but we hate to lose. So probably, like we spoke about before, you can find something for you, how to either win or lose, but bring up as much frequency towards something. It could be a goal, it could be materialistic, it could be whatever. Because just to have an amount on your account, a digital number on a digital computer screen, this, for most of the people on this planet, really do not drive you. That money really comes to you. So you need a strong desire. And about that and much more, we want to speak today.
I love that, Norman. And think about this, guys. It's not really money you want. You want the freedom. You want the experiences that you desire to do, and that all requires money. You might be a young family or any kind of family who would like to go and buy a new house, or you need a car. It's for the lifestyle we need to find where we actually find joy and fun. And if we can't have what we would love, like Norman's saying, it's all about desire. If you have all these desires and dreams and you can't get there and you keep saying to yourself, well, when I have more money, then I will do that. That is a very wrong way to manifest. And this is why we don't get where we want, because we condition our next step and success to not having enough money, not having enough education, not being good enough, maybe not having enough experience. What do you really want? Or what do you want? Not your husband, kids, parents, friends, partners. You. What is it you truly desire to have? And are you really following your own path? So going to money is energy, right? And it is a great energy to exchange for value. So if you were trained to think, put away money for rainy days, like this in olden days, this was a typical, but oh my God, you have to have the rainy days. I would love to take my family on this trip, but I don't have enough money. I mean, I do, but that's untouchable because that is actually for rainy days. If you're saving for rainy days, that's what you get. You will get the rainy days because you're actually energetically preparing yourself for it. And what Norman's talking about is actually the true key. Are you making decisions? Have you actually made a decision you would love to be rich and prosperous and happy? Even Bible talks about riches and prosperity, and people just look at everything and say, no, it's all spiritual. No, you don't actually understand. It's all about wealthy life. It's what does wealthy life mean to you? It's going to be different than Norman's definition for wealth, my definition for wealth, your definition for wealth will differ. Everybody has a different definition. But are you moving towards your definition and not looking out there with this competition? And I love the story of Arnold Schwarzenegger. But if we compete and say, oh, I need this because our neighbors bought a new car and they moved to the new house, so I must move as well, you're in a very wrong frequency attracting money in that energy, opportunities in that energy, in a frequency where it is. And it's called luck. It's called, I say, I would love to have more money, but your body says, but it takes time to make money. If you believe you're trading time for money, it's hard to make money. I mean, I used to hear this as a child all the time. It is very hard to make money. So I grew up believing that I need to trade my time and I need to work hard to actually be wealthy. And trust me, that's not true. Because no amount of education, no amount of anything you do will get you to the points where actually it's easy to make money. It's been easiest ever because we are in the times where the opportunities are endless and money you can make various places. You're not limited to go like, in the agriculture times, you had to go to the factories and only certain people who were wealthy. In agricultural times, like we're talking of the first economic era, if you were born wealthy, you actually died wealthy. Pretty much that was the case. If you were born poor, you would have died for that. There was no chance of changing. Whereas we are in the economic era, which is changing in such a few years as opposed to hundreds of years before. You have everything it takes, but you have to start. You cannot get to wealth. You must come from it. So that is a really important distinction, Norman.
I totally agree. And it's so funny that you just said that you have to come from wealth. I just pulled out a beautiful quote by Neville Goddard that I have hidden in my desk underneath all the documents. Neville Goddard once said, love, and we could take out love and put money in, or gratitude, or success, whatever. But we stick with love for the first round. Love is our birthright. Love is the fundamental necessity of our life. Do not go seeking for that which you are. Those who go seeking for love only make manifest their own loveliness, and the loveless never find love. Only the loving find love, and they never have to seek for it. Now you might say, okay, love, money, it's a total different thing. I have a lot of love, but I don't have money. The frequency of money is alike to the frequency of gratitude. And just thinking about it, I realize money actually is gratitude, isn't it? You go to the bakery, you get your pretzel, and because you're so grateful for the baker that he made the pretzel at 5 in the morning, you give him your money. You are a coach, you're a speaker, you go on a stage, you go in a one-on-one, and your client is so grateful that he gives you money as an energy exchange. Now let's read the whole quote again and exchange love with gratitude. Gratitude is our birthright. Why? Because everything we need is around us on this planet. We have air to breathe, and that's the most important thing. We can survive a couple days without food or water, but without air, pretty tricky thing. So basically everything that we need to survive for this very moment and come through the day is already here. And in most parts of the world, unless you're probably in the middle of the desert, you could even find something to eat. And even if it would be grass or leaves or something on the outside, everything is here. So could you be grateful? Gratitude is our birthright. Everything is given. Gratitude is the fundamental necessity of our life. If you walk through life and you're miserable and you're bored and you're pissed and you're just complaining, why did you come on this planet? Do you think that's your mission? That's your purpose in life? To come here and just bitch around and think everything is not good and everything is not fast enough? Why are you here? To let out your bad mood and think this will help anyone on the planet. Why are you here? Do not go seeking for that which you are. Oh, I need money first, then I'm grateful. If then, If I find a relationship, then I'm happy. If I find a new job, then. Can you give gratitude or love, even money, willingly away? Because what's the sign if you give something away? The sign in our regular life as well as the spiritual aspect is if you give something, you have so much that you can give part of it away. Make sense? If you have, I don't know, 10 kitty cats, little babies, and you give them away, everybody who gets one actually knows you must have more. Otherwise, if you just have one, you usually don't give it away. It's the same with money. Can you find someone on the street, under the bridge, wherever, and give them some money? Even if you say, oh, I only have 100 left, can you give them 5? Because with the 100, you have so much more than they have. Can you find someone that has less and share whatever? And it could be money, it could be love, it could be gratitude. Can you share something? Because that's the sign for the universe. I have so much that I even can give it away. And I have so much joy and gratitude for giving it away. So don't do it out of the fear of saying, oh, that's a neat trick. I give it away, but universe, bring it on, bring it on. No, this frequency is not so smart. Let's continue with Neville Goddard. Those who go seeking for gratitude, love, success, fame, only make manifest their own lovelessness, and the loveless never find love. What does he mean? What Vladi shared earlier. If you project the frequency of lack, of I don't have it, but I need it, oh, there's another bill coming in, it's just a letter coming in or an email. And if you would have money, it would be just that. It would just be an email with the attachment of an invoice. But the moment you don't have money, your energy opening this email is a total different one. But it is just an email. Can you see where the difference is? Where fear frequency comes in and where joy frequency comes in. And now comes the key point. Only the loving, in the original part, only the successful one, only the I am money, only the grateful ones find gratitude and gratefulness, and they never have to seek it again. Why? Because if I'm giving freely out of my heart, money, success, joy, love, whatever it might be, it will be reflected back to me. Maybe not by the same person, and that's what Vladi mentioned last episode, if you might have the wrong partner. If you want to convince this one partner, like, I love you so much and you need to love me back, then you're missing the whole point, because we are all one. It could be you're giving a lot of love to your husband or to your wife or to your children, and they don't reply that. But the love is coming back through your work or through money or health or whatever it is. It's all connected. Can you see how much you receive for free? And very often we are so focused on money. I need the money. Yeah, but yesterday somebody invited you for dinner. Yeah, that's nice, but I need the money. You just save $50. Oh, my mother gave me those set of plates. You just saved $30. Usually we don't see that. We're so fixed on this bill or on this number on the account that we don't see what the universe or other people actually gives us. And therefore we are not grateful for it. And as we're not grateful, we're sending a wrong energy. Like the universe watches everything and says, I'm giving you a lot of stuff. I gave you a penny here. I gave you $1 there. I gave you 50 there. And you don't really see that. You don't appreciate that. No, I want to have the million. And unless I have the million in my wallet, I'm unhappy. It's like in real life. If you give a person 3-4 gifts and they don't appreciate it and say, that's too little. I don't like that. No, I want to have the big thing. You don't bring the big stuff. And the last thing in this relation I want to say is, are you ready to receive the big stuff? As Vladi mentioned in the first part of our money episodes, it does not change your character. It just makes your character bigger. So if you were a pretty nice person being poor, you will be a much nicer person being rich, and you will do a lot of good. If you have been an a-hole your whole life, you will be a much bigger a-hole with money. And therefore, we need to practice and rehearse step by step what money does to us and how we treat money and where we put money in or how we spend money. That's the reason why so many lottery winners, when they win 1 million or 5 million and they never had anything, they lose it within a couple of months. They are not used to this amount. They could not keep little money in their life, and they also cannot keep big money. So can you see this as a kind of training, and it gets more and more and more and more, and it's for you to practice and rehearse. But the moment you see it, no, the universe is against me, you're sending out lack, and lack is what you will get.
You know, I love everything you said, and it reminded me of the practice I've been using for, well, definitely 7 years, because consciously. It's not that I've never done it before, but you know, when you actually have to pin yourself down to do something consciously and with intention, good intention, it's a 10% rule. I know lots of wealthy people use that, and it's not actually something I came up with. I've heard it somewhere. And they get us, like, will you get into a habit of giving away 10% of everything you make? I mean, everything and every single month. So you take away 10%. So are you in a habit? Because usually people are trained and training their mind to put away 30% I have to save. This is what even financial advisors tells us, you know, like you need to put away 30%. Again, we're doing for saving a rainy day, or are you investing it? This is the key. Are you wasting money, spending money, or investing it? And the same is with your time. Are you investing your time? Are you spending your time or killing your time? It's the same with your energy. Where does your energy go every day? Are you worrying about money and not having enough? That's killing it. So if you put this energy, time, and money on a scale of I'm investing it, I'm spending it well, or I'm wasting it, or I'm killing it completely, then you could add coins to whether you're talking about money, whether you're talking about energy, whether you're talking about time. And then this will be an indication how you genuinely think. Because are you comfortable enough to just give away 10% like Norman was talking about it? Take a proportion, because we have more than somebody else. Do you have a roof above your head? So then you're wealthy. There are people who don't have a room. There are homeless people. You know, like you have food on your table, a luxury table, you can go to restaurants. It doesn't matter what it is, because you're finding joy in it, but we always have enough to give something. But if you're not in a habit and you say, well, when I reach this sum, then I will give, it's a wrong kind of thinking. You need to create a new neural path of your brain thinking prosperity. Because when you are prosperous, so you have to, every single day, you have to act as you were prosperous already now. So I'm not saying take money you don't have and go and give it. But it's even the thinking. You know, like there was a story about the wealthy couple who lost the money. They bankrupted the business and something happened. And they would be walking on the street, and they were used to this luxury life and luxury restaurants. And they were talking about how certain circle of their friends started blanking them. So they didn't really they felt like they weren't our true friends, actually. At the beginning, they got upset, as we all would, you know. You're like, oh my goodness, like all of my friends are ditching me. But pay attention, because your true connections and friendships and partnerships happen when you're actually down. Everybody wants to be friends with you when you're super rich and successful, and they can get seen and heard, and people invite you to the private jet, all the stuff. But where are the people, and who are the people who are there for you all the times, regardless of whether you're actually experiencing the success and money right now? And I'm going to say this, what is the energy you feel when you're giving away money? Norman touched upon this with the electricity bill, and I think we somehow talked about it throughout, but think about it as an exercise. You get the bill, and you just pile them up on the desk. Maybe not, maybe you're not one of those, but you know how we go. Oh my God, another one and another one. And you know, like the energy that we give it, it's not like, oh, thank you, energy company. Oh my God, like I'm so grateful, because actually I couldn't do any washing. I couldn't do any cooking. My lighting, I've got all these serving people I do through internet. If I didn't have any electricity, hardly can I charge my phone. I would not be able to work on my phone. I get all the printing so I can get the kids for school. And, we don't really watch TV. genuinely you look at what are the things you use electricity for that makes your life so much easier. And you're paying with gratitude. That's what Norman's talking about. You're paying this gift. I usually put a smiley face and double tick, done, and paid. And I just put a smiley face next to it. And I'm not saying I always feel great with the bill, especially with the tax bill. I'm still practicing myself into feeling in complete ease with the taxes. I'm like, oh my God, when you see the tax bill. But really, this is the energy that attracts the opposite. So what would a really wealthy person do? They wouldn't go, oh my God, I have to pay taxes. They would actually find a solution. Okay, hold on a second. I'm making way too much money here. Let me figure out how I can save some of the taxes and use that well. You change the thinking. You cannot change your results, even in money, if you don't change the thinking around it. If you think lack and you are making decisions from, I don't have enough, let me do this, and when I make more money, then I will give it. You're doing all this wrong. Because you can't do when I have more money, I'll be happier. And this is actually our very favorite quote with Norman. We actually, 7 years ago or 6 years ago when we started studying, we had this quote saying, when I'm happy, then everything comes to me. It's not when I have the money, I will be happy. When you become happy, truly happy, finding joy and appreciation in everything, even if it's 500 you have. Whether you have 500, 5,000, 50,000, 500,000, people with more money have more responsibilities. I can see it now. 10 years ago, if you told me I'll be making the money I'm making now, I would say, oh my God, if I only had that, then I don't need anything else in my life. Well, that's a lie. Because your responsibilities, your lifestyle, your business expensive, your team, you're employing people. Now you have completely different expenses and different lifestyle than I had 10 years ago. So yes, if I was living 10 years ago with this money, I would have done it differently. But you're raising your standard, you're raising your frequency, you're raising what you're doing for other people too. And that takes more money, because obviously that is how more energy, more people. So really practice the 10%, regardless of how much you make. You choose where it goes. I used to choose each month, I would choose a different, either family member. I started with the family member who needed help, so I would throw a little bit there. But I also started with some animal shelters. There was a charity, homeless people, and it doesn't have to be money you give away. Practice the 10%, give away 10% of your time if you're struggling with money right now. But remember, if you are struggling with money, it's struggling because you believe in struggle. Is there a chance you believe in struggle because you believe it's so hard to make money, or you don't have what it takes to actually create? Look at all these young people that just come out there. They have it so easy. They're just making There's not that many YouTubers that are millionaires. There's a handful of them. And they are so passionate about it. They're nailing it because they love it. They have this passion for it, and they've cracked the code. But there's always such a small percentage of people who are super successful in any area. It's because they put the full themselves forth. And that's the key. Like, practice the 10% giving. You can buy a book to homeless person. I gave our homeless people, I used to buy them food and drinks because I'm not a huge believer that money helps people in giving them. Why? Because people then expect that somebody's going to come and save them with the money, and they're not really elevating themselves. I like them to pull themselves to a higher frequency where we are, to find themselves and believing and awaken themselves into, I am the source. Like we're saying with Norman, I am the source of greatness. There's no one else who can come. If somebody gives you temporary money or try and give you, you might be in a situation and people give you money, you're not really learning how to handle a bigger and bigger and bigger challenges, because you just using somebody else's money. You haven't really figured out how to get yourself out of the hole. And if you find yourself in a hole, stop digging. Because the reason we're in a hole, and I mean hole, any kind of hole, financial, relationships, health, anything, it's because we're digging. It's us who are subconsciously, or with these beliefs that are programmed into us, we program them into subconscious, and we believe that. We need to replace this. We need to find new stories about money that help us to create new neural pathways. Believe in you and believe you can make money. Believe that it's so much easier to make money. Believe there's so many more opportunities for you to be wealthier. In fact, one of the best exercises I'm doing still occasionally is I'm prosperity, I'm prosperity, I'm prosperity, I'm prosperity. Write it everywhere. If you can cite this for 5 minutes a day, just 5 minutes, do it as many times as you like. But if you can put the timer on for 5 minutes and say, I'm prosperity, and say it with ease. So when you're saying it, you're even dancing to it, like, I'm prosperity, like really find the frequency flow with that saying, because I'm guaranteeing you within 4 days and less, you will start feeling changes and you will see different results. It was mind-blowing how it can really change your thinking like this. So, Norman.
I also give rather people on the street something that do something for it. Also, sometimes at the traffic light, there's a juggler coming, or people that do something in the middle of the street for 30 seconds. I always give them something because they put some value into this world, and I appreciate that. Rather than have someone sitting on the street, usually with a poor looking dog, and they do nothing, they just sit there. And probably in other countries it's a different thing. But if you are homeless in Germany and you sit on the street with your dog, you want to sit on the street. Like, the system would not let you fall that deep. So all the people that sit on the street chose to sit there. And just because they say, I don't like the system and I'm not paying tax and I'm not doing anything, why should I support them? I mean, if everybody would sit on the street and said, give me money, I'm not doing anything, we would have nothing. And again, it's a different thing if somebody came in a situation like that and they had no choice and they totally lost it all, like in other countries. But over here, it's hardly impossible. And Tony Robbins used to say one thing: if you want to have more in your life, more of whatever, raise your standards. Vladi touched on that a little earlier. Raise your standards. If you say a flying economy is always good, yeah, you will get the money for flying economy. A little bit more, a little bit less, but usually the same. But if you make it a point like, and this stops now, business or first or private jet is my thing, and this is a demanding thing, I need to have it for whatever reason. If lack or love, it doesn't matter. We saw that with Schwarzenegger and Michael Jordan. It doesn't matter. Then the money is coming. So where can you raise your standard? And this usually happens if I go back into my old days, and guilty as charged, sometimes it still happens that when I'm in the restaurant, and maybe you're aware of that, either you first check the food and then the price, or back in the old days, I first checked only the price, and then where it was quite cheap, I checked for the food and if I would like that. Sometimes I felt like having salmon, and this was then too expensive for me, 25, 30 euros. So I thought, no, that's too much. So I looked for stuff that is cheaper, but actually, why do I go to a restaurant to eat the same thing like I can make myself at home? Can you just, if you go for a date with your loved one and say, let's have a beautiful evening, can you just avoid the money section? And if you want to have a glass of wine that's 50 euros, then go for it. Like Vladi shared earlier, you don't need to spend the money you don't have. Like, if you're broke, then don't drink a glass of wine for 50 or buy a super yacht or something. That would be stupid. But most of us have the money. If you can have the money or take the money to have the evening of your life and really enjoy yourself and your loved one, you would put so much positive energy out that more positive thing would come back to you, rather than you sit there and you say, oh, it's so much money and I hate it and I don't have so much and now I have to spend it. You know, just end the night right here and go home. Go home, watch Netflix, and hope that your energy moves up. Because the moment you're bitching and mourning about the money it will cost, you're losing every joy of the main reason why you got there or wanted to buy a TV or a vacation. You're constantly thinking about, oh, my money is leaving. Yes, you're getting something for it, something that you chose. Can you just be joyful about that? And we really hope that you had a lot of insights in the last episode or this episode. And I give it up to Vladi to close with the final statement for this episode today.
I'm just gonna say one sentence, Guy, and it is your choice. You either choose to be wealthy or you choose to sit as a victim who hasn't had the chances like others. It's your life, and you live only once. So if you close your eyes and imagine yourself in the future and thinking of all the chances you could have taken but you haven't, how does that make you feel? Now, for a second, come back and go back again and go to the future, and now you see yourself as that person who just was taking any kind of chances, whether failing and just trying new thing and it didn't work and jump into another one. And now feel how that feels. Because it's not about the individual things, whether it fails or whether it works or whether we make the money this month or next month. Overall, the happy life is about wealth. And the wealth and prosperity is your choice. And I'm going to end up with that.
What a beautiful closing statement. We wish you all the wealth that you could take on, because it's up to you how much wealth you see in you, in the world, and everything. And we know that you are more wealthy than you can imagine, even though probably you cannot see that yet. But we will do our very best to give you so much faith in yourself through the next episodes that you hopefully get there one day. We see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.